This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us. Check out IWC, RWA, and more. And listeners like you, support this show at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Hungry as fuck, but I ain't starving yet. Paying for the pain, cocktail bar set. Never said I was a gangster or thug, but I'm an animal. Beating for the taste of the floor.
Hey guys, it is the Indy Mayhem Show. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at Sorgatron Media Studios. And this is the show where we would talk with people in and around independent professional wrestling, or we talk to independent people around non-independent professional wrestling, as I think is what we can call today's situation. So we're going to have fun with this conversation. But first, please go check out everything to support this show and what we're doing. Of course, working with WrestlingMayhemShow.com. You can check out this and other wrestling podcasts talking about all kinds of different stuff around professional wrestling and the back catalog of great interviews. And over at IndyWrestling.us, where you can find that back catalog of specifically the Indy Mayhem Show, and you can support a lot of the wrestling and promotions that we work with the Indy Wrestling Network and other projects and VODs, downloads, everything like that, and see a lot of guys before they went to WWE or whatever other promotion they may be signed with these days. But today, first I got to give a shout out to Chad the Shad for hooking up today's interview because there's a new project coming on, and our guest today wants to talk about what's going on with that. And I have so many questions. I realize I've seen his work so much over the years. And I'm really excited to have a conversation here with Rob Schamberger with us on the line from, I believe, Kansas City, correct?
Kansas City.
Yes. I just drove by Kansas City recently. So excellent. So, hey, bro, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show.
So, of course, you're artist in residence with WWE. So let me not bury the lead on that one there. You got a new project coming up that we'll talk about here, but we like to kind of do a little get to know you on the show. And obviously, you're not this deep into it if you're not a fan. So let me know what was the first memory you have of pro wrestling?
Well, I would say probably my first memory would be the Rock and Wrestling cartoon, but I didn't really get into it until I was 18. Grew up with a single mom household with one TV, and I don't know, like Murder, She Wrote was on opposite wrestling, so I didn't get to watch as a kid. But when my mom remarried, my stepfather was a fan back in the 60s and 70s. He would go to Memorial Hall in Kansas City every week and, watch Bulldog Bob Brown and Bob Geigel and Harley Race and those guys. And so I was there at their house doing laundry, and my stepfather was flipping through channels, landed on Ric Flair doing a promo in the ring, and I was just like, bam, hooked. This would have been like 98. And I didn't know a whole lot about wrestling. So the next week when I was there on a Monday again, I just wanted to find wrestling and was flipping through the channels. This was before there was a guide, right? Like you just flip through, and landed on Raw instead of Nitro, and I was hooked. It was again, like 98, 99 around then. So I mean, I was all in on it.
So in obviously, being involved with the art and everything, what came first? Was it the wrestling love or the art love?
The art, for sure. When I was 7 or 8, I got my first comic book, and I knew at that moment I want to make something like this. Like I knew, like, okay, someone got paid to make this. This is a job that you can have. And being a Kansas City guy, the first comic I ever bought, a Kansas City artist drew the cover of. So it's like, okay, this is real, right? Like I can do this. And everyone thought it was a phase because I was 8 years old, but no, it just stayed with me.
It's one of those when they say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a fireman or something at that age, but you stick with it. Right?
Right. And I'm really obsessive about stuff. So, I was quickly learning every little step of how to make a comic. So by the time I was 12, I'd made my first one. And by the time I was 17, I was self-publishing and distributing out of the trunk of my car, like MC Hammer with mixtapes, going all over town that way. So the hustle was always there.
My comic book friends on this network will not wouldn't let me get away with asking what the comic book was.
It was an issue of the Incredible Hulk. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact number.
Oh, that's fine.
actually just out of reach here, or I would grab it. But it was like when he was gray and he was fighting the absorbing man on top of Hoover Dam. Like if they know, they know. It's a pretty iconic cover.
That's
At least
great.
it is for me because it's what was my gateway. But yeah, that's where it started.
So is this something that you're already 18, getting deep into the wrestling? You're already in the art. Like, at what point did those two worlds kind of intersect for you?
It started probably like 9 or 10 years ago.
Mhm.
I was making my own comics. Had some stuff published here and there, but
Mhm.
nothing like to quit my day job over.
Yeah.
And I was researching a graphic novel. I kind of wanted to do the Mad Men of pro wrestling.
Okay.
Like set in the 70s before the national TV era took over. And so I was researching that real hard. My mother-in-law's college roommate was Bob Geigel's daughter. And
Mm.
so I got to go to Bob's house and interview him.
Oh,
Bob was the president of the NWA for quite a
oh, sorry.
while
That's right.
and
Yeah.
was a wrestler himself and a promoter here in the Kansas City area. Actually, like most of Missouri and Iowa, he ran
Mhm.
before he became president of the NWA. So, like his basement was covered in 8x10s of every wrestler he ever worked with, and he got to give me a tour of that, and like picture by picture, gave me like a personal story about every single one of them. It was tremendous, and I'm so mad I didn't have a video camera for that. Getting that kind of history there in person. But I was researching that and drew some of it, but it just kind of got to the point where I'm like, this isn't working with comics. Like this approach is not doing it. Like I'll always have a day job
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
keep this way, right? And so then I was like, I was doing fine art on the side as well, but I wasn't standing out because I didn't have a subject matter where I could stand out that way. And then I just put two and two together, like fine art of pro wrestling, and did a Kickstarter and raised enough that I could quit that day job within a month.
Wow.
And it's been crazy since. And then, yeah, within a year, WWE brought me under the umbrella.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you just gained enough notoriety through that project, and they just noticed, right?
they noticed me, but then I was touring a lot with it. Like
Yeah.
I knew you could see the art online, but there's a whole other thing to seeing it in person.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to different wrestling type events, like and the big notable ones were the Cauliflower Alley Club and the National
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling Hall of Fame in Waterloo, Iowa. At those events, I met Ben Brown, who works real close with Triple H,
Okay.
and also Jerry Briscoe and Jim Ross, and stayed in touch with them over, after that, and real quickly they brought me in.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So from the start, we talk about, is it the style that we see today? This kind of wild, kinetic, I guess, is a way to describe the style that we see in your work today.
Yeah, yeah. And it tries. I try to do something specific to each subject. Like
Mhm.
it's as important, if not more important, to me that it doesn't just look like the person, but the viewer gets the same feeling of looking at that art as they do watching them perform in the ring. And getting that same kind of energy across that really speaks to each person's persona.
Yeah. So it's you got in on this. Like, what did they bring you on? How were they looking to apply the art that you were already doing?
Yeah, it's an amazing setup that I had initially with WWE all the way to now, which is I own all of my work,
Okay.
and they actually license it from me. And so at first we were doing prints and posters. Pretty soon, utilizing it on T-shirts, and I would paint live at various events, notably every year at WrestleMania Access.
Hmm.
So 30 through 35. Obviously, not this year. I was painting live at Access for them as well.
That's awesome. So it really kind of became an integrative relationship there.
Yeah, they like what I do, and they give me the freedom to do it. I'm self-motivated on all of it. Like, there's no sketch submissions or approvals or revisions, and every artist hates me that I have this kind of arrangement. It's really awesome, and now through the trust that I've built with them and with my audience, now with the website I just launched, Schambergerlabs.com, I'm fully in charge of all of it, created and curated by this guy.
That's awesome. So what you've been doing this for several years now. What led to that change to like I'm going to present this, myself and not just through their shop.
It was my plan all along.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that I need, because they had never worked with an artist in the way that they do with me.
So either way, you're kind of laying new groundwork for the company.
Yes. And really in a way that they work with individuals. Like, a lot of stuff that you see now, I was the canary in the coal mine for. So like Sam Roberts actually says that quite a bit, that, like, things working out with me led to him being able to be a part of it.
And for those that don't know, like, Sam Roberts is an independent, like, he does his own podcast, I believe, radio show as well, right?
Yeah.
But he's not like a full-on employee. He just kind of comes in for, like, I guess, specific things, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like, he's got the network show now, and it was actually me back in the day with Canvas to Canvas, my YouTube show that I do with WWE, like, where I show how to make a painting, do a new one each week. I shoot, direct, produce, edit, all of that, and they have been using it now on their channel for 340 straight weeks.
Wow.
It's the longest running original show on their YouTube channel.
Take that, Zack Ryder.
Yeah. That's lapped him a couple times now.
That's great. So it's really cool that you've got this, like, really, like I say, integrated kind of thing, and say that and this is stuff that you've shown up on. I think I showed a Topps card with Walter a moment ago. If not, I'm going to show it in a moment. WWE2K stuff. Like, this is art that we've definitely seen across the board, across multiple medias.
Yeah. I through WWE, the platform they gave me, a lot of their other licensing partners started saying, "Hey, we want to work with this guy."
Mm-hmm.
So Topps, Mattel, 2K, several others have given me a similar platform to be able to work with them, and yeah, all of that has been tremendous too. Like, this recent Topps Undisputed set, the feedback on that was wonderful, and
this is the set that I'm seeing on your Instagram, featured prominently right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also a recent Mattel figure, the Elite Legends set, has an Ultimate Warrior figure that features the coat that I painted for Warrior, that he wore in what ended up being his final appearance.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and that's really powerful, being able to hold that in my hands, that, this is something that, is now this kind of thing after that whole experience. It's real wonderful.
Wow. We're looking at right now, if we were on the video version with us out there for Indy Mayhem show, that is astonishing to be part of something like that.
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
And I was reading your bio. It said that you've been featured in like on Raw and Total Divas, things like that. What kind of roles have they've kind of brought you in on, those kinds of things that we probably saw you and didn't realize it was you?
Pre-pandemic, I was backstage about once a month.
Okay.
And a lot of that is just being there. Like, when I was on Raw, it was me and Stephanie together doing a segment, and it was because I was backstage painting that night. It was an awesome night. It was when there was the huge tear apart between Brock Lesnar and Undertaker, and like, the setup for that was actually me and Steph talking in front of this painting. And then everything, chaos ensued. but they were going to do it somewhere else, and she stopped, and it was like 5 minutes before they were going to go live with that segment. She's like, no, we're going to put Rob over tonight. And so it was like a really sudden thing, and really wonderful. And there was another time with where like I quote made a sign for New Day, and they were taking it out to the ring with them. I think it was like a save the tables thing or something. I don't remember, but it was Xavier Woods, saw me there, and he's like, "Hey, let's include Rob in this."
Mm-hmm.
And when I was on Total Divas and Ms. and Mrs., it was the same thing. I was there. They're like, "This art is cool. It'd be different on our show," and got me included that way.
That's amazing. You're just in the process.
Yeah.
I did have a couple of questions. Like I said, our crew, when they heard you were going to be on, I asked for a couple of questions from them. This is one from our boy Mad Mike up there in New York. He's asking, what iconic moment would you love to capture from history, that like something that hasn't happened yet? Like an example, like we haven't seen a Rock versus HBK kind of moment or something like that. Like what kind of like fantasy thing do you wish you could capture?
I would love to see Randy Orton really mix it up for a run in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Like him and Ciampa or Gargano, a lot of the people that are making their names there. The way Randy carries himself on social, especially with younger talent,
Yes,
seeing that like on screen would be rad. And I think that they could really make some magic there. And I keep speaking this out into the world. Hopefully, eventually it'll happen.
I'd be here for it. That's for sure. So Rob was asking about like painting things other than WWE. Like when you started, was it exclusively WWE? Was it wrestling across the board? Or do you still? I mean, I'm sure WWE keeps you plenty busy in material right now. But is there any other subjects, whether other promotions or other off wrestling thing that you still like are partaking in art wise?
Sure. I fit things in here and there, but yes, WWE, they keep me plenty busy. And again, it's because this platform they give me, it's I'm able to do as much as I want, and then we can figure out what to do with it from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have that arrangement with others.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are like passion projects I'll do. Like just in October, every October I try to do like a themed thing that's outside of wrestling, kind of a palate cleanser, and try to do a new painting every day. So this past month was what I called Trektober, where every day I did a different Star Trek painting, which was awesome. Year before I did music-based stuff, and a couple years before that it was all horror movie, monster movie type stuff. It's whatever is interesting me at that point. The feedback to the Star Trek stuff was tremendous.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll probably do it again next year, schedule willing.
I love it. Wait, is that from the animated series? Is that the cat girl
Yes.
from the animated series I'm seeing there? That's amazing.
I go deep, man.
Lieutenant Mress on there. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got Emrys and Eric's both in the set.
That's some deep cuts.
I wanted to make sure people knew that I was for real about this. Like from the moment I could understand what I was seeing on TV, I was a Star Trek fan.
Be like, listen, I'm not a fly-by-night Trekkie because it's cool.
No,
so
I'm legit.
I'm all in on this one, just like the wrestling. Awesome.
I could do the live long and prosper before I knew how to drive.
I find myself doing the live long and prosper when I point at people sometimes, and I was like, oh, this is just where I'm at. Okay.
Yeah. It's either that or Wu-Tang.
Oh, I see the Wu-Tang is forever sign on here too. So here's the fun question. Listen, we always used to ask this question when we didn't know how to interview people. And here's a version of it. We always used to ask what vegetable, if you're a vegetable, what vegetable would be. You'd be amazed the answers we got from everybody from Freight Train to Johnny Gargano over the years. But if you, Alex from California would love us to ask, if you'd paint a bowl of vegetables, what would it be?
Now, are they cooked or uncooked?
Your choice. I don't think anybody's ever asked that before. I'd be a cooked baked bean.
Well, texture-wise, I think like a mix of broccoli and cauliflower would be fun to paint.
Ooh, a medley, if you will.
Yeah. The different textures there would be a challenge. Yeah, that'd be a fun still life.
That's great. I always usually ask a version of this question especially to our indie wrestling friends. But what is the best and worst thing about painting wrestling?
Best thing is I get to do this for a living.
Yes.
I mean, how cool, right? And then it's like something I started doing that I wanted to do, and I get to do it for a living. It's tremendous. Worst thing, social media.
That's everybody's worst thing these days, isn't it?
Yeah. There's nothing that prepares you for 10,000 people within half an hour telling you that you're terrible.
So that's like
Yeah.
what are they coming at you for? Because they're just critics of the art, or
I'm not a gamer. Okay. And I did art for a video game.
Okay.
And that audience, you know,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Wait,
Yeah.
what was was it the cover art? I'm sorry, I haven't gone the last two 2K games. I'm more of a WWE Battlegrounds kind of guy. What, like, was your art the covers? Was it in game? Like, how was it featured?
Yeah, the first time I worked with 2K, who are awesome.
Mhm.
I've got good friends there at that company. But the first one that everything went great was a painting of Nakamura that was included in like the special edition that year. I think it would have been like the NXT special edition. Came with a Nakamura painting that I did for that. And that was awesome. But there was in-game stuff for Supercard that like, here's the thing, like their user base is massive, right? Like
Right.
it's the population of Denmark is like the same equivalent. And so when you have a vocal minority, it's proportionately
just
that
enormous,
much more.
Enormous, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just the reality of it. The majority of their user base love the stuff, and their other companies that they work with, like Google Play and the iTunes Store, featured the artwork. But it was a certain segment that was very vocal, had their opinions.
Of course. But hey, you're there making your living at it, so
right.
I think
I just turned off Twitter for a week, and I was cool.
Just be like, hey, put this over here. So again, let's drive home. You got the new project. You got the lab's website. Tell me a little bit more about what's going to be featured here. What's already featured here? Is there anything upcoming to look out for over there?
Yeah, it is now it's the public face of what I've been building towards my whole career, which is having my entire library up of all my WWE art, over 360 prints, over 200 original paintings, and people get to access them for the first time for a lot of them. And new work goes up at least once a week. Every Sunday there will be a new piece that debuts on there, and the website will update throughout every week, with different featured superstars and prints. And also the Canvas to Canvas series is featured right there on the front page as well. And whenever a new episode goes up every Monday, I'll update that on there as well. And there's also blog posts on there where I write up about my thinking on each piece, and what it kind of means more than just what you're looking at. It's everything that I do, and all of this is stage one. Once we get all of this worked out, making sure it's all working, then I can build on it. And I'm not going to talk about how yet, because it's really, really awesome, and I'm going to save that for another round.
Oh, that's fantastic. Like I said, it's art that I know has popped up on my radar over the years. If you're a WWE fan, you probably have not you've probably stumbled on something he's done and been blown away by it over the last several years. This is great. I'm following all this stuff so I don't miss the next Star Trek-y thing you do. Or maybe Wu-Tang is your thing this next year. I don't know. So either way, I'm here for it. So to go check that out, Schambergerlabs.com. And where can people find you on social media and everything too?
On Twitter and Instagram, it's at Rob Schamberger, and I post pretty often, and all the art there.
Awesome.
Also, WWE Shop, WWE Auction, artwork is available there. WWE Shop especially has the T-shirts with the art on it. And every Monday on WWE's YouTube channel is Canvas to Canvas. I'm the Bob Ross of wrestling, but with less hair.
I love it. Any last one to throw out there? Any tips for an 8-year-old Rob or Robin out there that wants to get into art?
Draw all the time, and draw lots of different things. What interests you, try to draw other people's art to learn how they did what they did, and everything that you do, you'll find that the next thing you do is a little bit better. So if this is something you love doing, just do it, and eventually you'll make it happen.
I love it. I love it. Great advice there. Thank you, Rob, for joining us. And again, if you guys like what's going on here, these types of conversations, we got plenty more over on the Indy Mayhem Show. Subscribe to it on your favorite podcast provider. And of course, check out back episodes and other great content over at IndyWrestling.us and WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Thank you again, Rob, for joining us. Thank you for joining us as well. Until next time, please support indie wrestling, indie artists, wrestling artists, all the above. We'll see you guys next time. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.